In today's episode, we have 5 different problems, and I'm going to be showing you how to solve them. For the first problem, we're going to be simplifying, and how you simplify is you're going to write in the most compact, efficient manner without changing the value. For our equation, we're going to use 25 3 over 2. And the first step that we're going to do into simplifying this is we're going to change it to a radical. Now, basically, what that means, we use that 2, and we're going to put that 25 into a square root, and that is going to give us 25 root to the third power. And that is going to equal 5 to the third power, because we just pulled out the 5 from that 25, because 5 times 5 equals 25. So you just pull out the 5, that's going to leave you 5 to the third power. And 5 to the third power, that's going to be 5 times 5 times 5, which gives you 125. So right there, that's 3 steps. That's a simple way to simplify. Now I'm going to show you how another student had solved and simplified one, which, notice I have a sad face for him and a happy face the one we just did. Reason being is because the one we just did it in 3 steps, when the one I'm about to show you did it in 5, which is not how you want to simplify. But I'm going to show you how we did it. And what this student did, he multiplied that 25 by the 3. And that's going to give him 20. He multiplied. He used that power to multiply, and so that would have been 25 times 25 times 25 to the first one half. Which, once he did that, he put that into the radical, which was 25 times 25 times 25, which equal. Then what he did then, he pulled out the 5s, which was 5 times 5, 5 times 5. And 5 times 5. And what he did there is he pulled out those 5s, and that gave him 5 times 5 times 5 equals 125. Now, even though they got the same answer, he used more steps than student number 1 did. Therefore, student number 1 was correct, student number 2 was incorrect. Now, for our second problem, we're going to be trying to be complete in the square. Now, the first step in completing the square, we have in our equation, which is x squared minus 10x plus 36 equals 0. Now, what our first step there to do is to get the x's by themselves. And that's going, an easy way to do that is just to subtract that 36 from both sides, which is going to equal x squared minus 10x equals negative 36. Now, once you've done that, you're going to be using their formula, which is b over 2 squared. And you just plug that in, and that's going to be negative 10 over 2 squared. And that equals 25. How that equals 25 is negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5. And negative 5 times negative 5 is positive 25. Now that you have that, you're going to add 25 to both sides of your equation. And that's going to be x squared minus 10x plus 25 equals negative 36 plus 25. Now, negative 36 plus 25 equals negative 11. So right there we got negative 11. They're going to come over here. Now this one we're going to be changing the formula. And it's going to end up being x minus, you can bring down that x, it's going to be x minus 5 squared. So I'm going to come down there and they're coming down here. And as you can see, the answer is C, because that's what we're looking for. That's the formula and the correct answer that we're looking for. In this problem, we are going to be we're we are going to be finding the length of the rectangle. Now, everybody knows that the length of right here, it gives us the length of a rectangle. It says the length of a rectangle is 2x minus 1 units. So, and it says that the width is x minus 2 units. And it says that the area of the rectangle is 20 square units. So, we're going to come over here, and we plugged that in, made our little rectangle with the 20 square units as the area, put our length right there at the top, 2x minus 1, and our width, x minus 2. And now, since our area is 20 square units, what two numbers come to your mind when you're looking for 20? Like, what times what gives you 20? What pops into your head right away? Well, to me, it's 4 times 5, which is right there, 4 times 5. Now, we're going to come over here, and that's what we're going to be using for x. Now, right there, you're going to use 4.5 as x. So, instead of using the 2x minus 1 and the x minus 2, well, x is not really a number, so you can't use that as one. So we're plugging in the 4.5 as the x. So 2 times 4.5 is 9. 9 minus 1 equals 8. So just put that 8 right on down there. You got the x minus 2. Plug in that 4.5 as the x. It's going to be x, or I'm sorry. It's going to be 4.5 minus 2, which is going to be 2.5. Now, what that is going to be is, just bring that down here. So now we have the 8 and the 2.5. Now we're going to multiply that as 8 times 2.5, because how you get the area is we're basically checking to make sure that the length is correct. So now we have our length and our width. We're going to multiply them together, make sure that they equal the square units or the area, which equals 20. So our length 8 and our width 2.5. 8 times 2.5 equals 20. Therefore, our square units, or 20 square units, is correct. Therefore, the answer, come over here. We're looking for the answer, and again, we are looking for the length of the rectangle. So let's come back over here. Look, length equals 8. Looking for an 8. Well, right there it is. The answer is D. And for our fourth problem, we're going to be using the quadratic formula to solve y squared plus 7y equals 6. Now, what we're going to do first is we're going to use the quadratic formula, which is a squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Meaning, we have to get the equation equal to 0. So our equation for right now is y squared plus 7y equals 6. Well, what we have to do first, like I said, we have to get it equal to 0, which we're just going to subtract 6 from both sides to get a 0 on the right side. So just subtract 6, and you've got y squared plus 7y minus 6 equals 0. Now, once you have it equal to 0, you're going to solve with the quadratic equation, which is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all over 2a. Well, what we have to do first right now is we have to identify our a, b, and c. How we do that is your first number is going to be your a. So that first number is A, your second number is going to be your B, and your third number is going to be your C. Now that we have identified our A, B, and C's, we are going to come down here. We're going to plug it into our equation. And so we have our equation right there, the formula and equation we're going to be using. Then you come down here and we're going to plug it in, which is going to be -7 plus or minus the square root of 49 minus 4, 1, -6. All over 2a, which is a equals 1. So it's all over 2, 1. And that is going to equal -7 plus or minus the square root of 49 plus 24 all over 2. Now how we got that is because -4 times 1 times -6 is positive 24. So that's how we got the 49 plus 24. And 2 times 1 is 2. So that is how we got the 2. Now we have to finish it. So 49 plus 24 gives you 73. So therefore our answer now is -7 plus or minus the square root of 73 over 2. So let's come over here and look at our options. And as you can see, our answer is A. Alright, now we're on to our fifth problem. Now, Jonah threw a tennis ball straight up in the air. The ball traveled up to a maximum height, then fell back down to earth. The height of the ball at various times after being thrown is shown in the table below. There's our table. Height of Jonah's tennis ball. That is our table. Now, the height of the ball as a function of time is described by the function h equals -16t squared plus 50t plus 6. At which of the following times was the ball located exactly at a height of 41 feet? So, it gave us our height, h equals height. It gave us our height, which was 41 feet. So we're going to use that 41 as our h. So that is going to be 41 minus 6. 41 equals -16t squared plus 50t plus 6. Now you have to get it equal to 0. So minus 41 from each side. So that is going to give you 0 equals -16 squared plus 50t minus 35. Now we're going to use the quadratic formula. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Now we have to swap the sides, and when we swap the sides, we have to change the signs. What's that is going to look like is right here. That's going to be a positive 16 minus 50t, or it's going to be a positive 16t squared minus 50t plus 35 equals 0. Now we have to solve the equation using the quadratic, and that is going to be the x equals -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now we're going to plug in our a, b, and c, and that's going to look like this. It's going to look like x equals negative minus negative 50 plus or minus the square root of negative 50 squared minus 4, 16, 35 all over 2 times 16. Now we're going to solve that. And that's going to give you this, because a negative times a negative is a positive. -1 times -50 is positive 50. So positive 50 plus or minus the square root of 2500 minus 2240 all over 32. Now that is going to equal to positive 50 to this, because positive 50 plus or minus the square root of 260 all over 32. Now, how we got that 260 is because, well, we just solved that square root right there. 2,500 minus 2,240 is 260. Now we're going to factor the 260, and that we're going to get 2's out of that. So I'm going to bring that 2, plug it into our equation, and that is going to be 50 plus or minus 2, the square root of 65, all over 32. As you can see, they can all be divided by 2. So that's what you're going to do, is you're going to divide them by that 2, and that's going to equal 25 plus or minus the square root of 65 over 16. Now, you would normally get 2 out of them. Like, you would normally get 2 answers out of this, since you're going to get a positive and a negative. But in this case, we're looking for the positive, and we're looking for the height of something. So that's the highest it could go, which is going to be a positive. So we're only going to be using the positive today. So 25 plus the square root of 65 is that equals 33.062. And what you're going to do after that is you're going to divide it by that 16, which is going to give us 2.0663, which we have there. Now, what we're going to do now is we're just going to simplify that, and so that simplifies to 2.07. So now we're looking for our answer, which is 2.07. Let's just come over here and look at it. Look at our answers and our options, and as you can see, our answer is D,